Scientists have mapped the human genome. We've sent rovers to Mars. We've split the atom. But there are animals alive on this planet right now doing things that our best researchers genuinely cannot explain. Not myths, not legends, documented, studied, peer-reviewed, and still deeply mysterious. Today, we're counting down 10 wildlife superpowers that have left scientists scratching their heads. We'll go deep on 5 of them and round out the list with 5 more that are just as mind-bending. Let's get into it. Starting us off, the electric eel. Now, most people know these animals generate electricity. That part isn't new. Electric eels can produce bursts of up to 600 volts, enough to stun a horse, light up a room, or stop a human heart. But here's what scientists discovered in 2024 that changed everything. Electric eels don't just shock their prey. They can coordinate their electrical discharges in rapid, deliberate sequences to manipulate prey behavior, essentially using electricity like a remote control on the nervous system of other animals. They can make prey freeze, twitch, jump out of hiding, and scientists are still working out exactly how the eels know which sequence to fire and when. 600 volts was impressive. A living biological weapon that can puppeteer other animals? That's something else entirely. Moving on, the lyrebird of Australia. This bird can mimic almost any sound it hears with near perfect accuracy. And I don't mean other bird song, I mean chainsaws, camera shutters, car alarms, human voices, crying babies. But here's what really baffles researchers. Lyrebirds don't just copy sounds randomly. They use mimicry strategically, incorporating the sounds of predator alarm calls from other species to manipulate the behavior of those species. They've been observed using false alarm calls to distract rival males, confuse potential threats, and even keep potential mates nearby. Scientists don't yet fully understand how lyrebirds process and store thousands of distinct sounds, or what neurological system allows such precise, on-demand audio reproduction. Their vocal anatomy is unlike anything else in the bird world. What we do know is that this bird isn't just a recorder, it's running a strategy. The axolotl is a salamander native to ancient lake systems in Mexico, and it can do something no other vertebrate on Earth can match. It can regrow entire limbs, its spinal cord, its heart, and parts of its own brain. Not scar tissue, full, functional, perfectly formed regeneration. The regrown limb has the right bones, the right nerves, the right blood vessels, all rebuilt from scratch. Now, here's the part that genuinely baffles scientists. Most animals, including humans, have the same basic cellular machinery. The genes required for regeneration aren't exclusive to axolotls. We actually share many of them. So why can't we do this? Researchers at institutions around the world are actively trying to answer that question, because if they crack it, it could transform how we treat spinal injuries, heart disease, and neurological damage in humans. The axolotl isn't just a cool animal. It's a biological blueprint that we haven't learned to read yet. Homing pigeons have been navigating across hundreds of miles and returning to their exact home location for thousands of years. Ancient armies used them. They've delivered messages across wartime Europe. They find home in storms, at night, over open ocean. And we still don't fully understand how. The leading theory is magnetoreception, the ability to sense Earth's magnetic field like an internal compass. Tiny particles of magnetite have been found in pigeon brains, possibly acting as biological compasses. Some researchers believe they can also read low-frequency sound waves, use polarized light from the sun, and even detect subtle differences in smell gradients. The problem? When scientists block each of these systems individually, pigeons still find their way home before, which means either the backup systems are more powerful than we thought, or there's something else entirely going on that we haven't identified yet. A pigeon has been navigating more reliably than our GPS for centuries, and we still can't fully reverse engineer it. Now we get to what might be the most otherworldly creature on this entire list, the tardigrade, also called the water bear. It's microscopic, about 0.5 millimeter long, and it looks like a tiny 8-legged bear under a microscope, and it is essentially indestructible. When conditions become hostile, the tardigrade enters a state called cryptobiosis. It expels over 95% of its body water, shuts down its metabolism to less than 0.01% of normal levels, and curls into a protective shell called a tun. In that state, it has survived temperatures just above absolute zero, minus 272 degrees Celsius. It has survived temperatures above boiling point. It has survived pressure 6 times greater than the deepest ocean trench. It has survived radiation doses over 1,000 times higher than what would kill a human.
And in 2007, the European Space Agency sent tardigrades into open space, exposed to the vacuum, to cosmic radiation, to all of it, for 10 days. Most of them survived. Some of them reproduced afterward. Scientists still cannot fully explain the proteins tardigrades produce to protect their cells during cryptobiosis, or how their DNA avoids catastrophic damage under radiation levels that shred the genetic material of every other known organism. This animal has survived all 5 of Earth's mass extinction events. It has been alive, in some form, for 500 million years. Whatever ends life on this planet, the tardigrade will probably outlast it. This one requires a moment to really absorb. There is a jellyfish called Turritopsis dohrnii. It is about the size of a lentil, and it may be biologically immortal. Here's how it works. Most animals, including most jellyfish, follow a one-way path. You're born, you grow, you age, you die. That's the deal. When this jellyfish is stressed, injured, or simply gets old, instead of dying, it reverses its own life cycle. Its adult cells transform back into their earliest juvenile form through a process called transdifferentiation. The jellyfish essentially becomes young again. It restarts. Imagine a butterfly turning back into a caterpillar, then becoming a butterfly again, as many times as it needs to. Researchers at the University of Oviedo found that during this reversal, hundreds of genes turn on and off, similar to the pathways involved in human stem cell repair. The jellyfish's DNA repair mechanisms are extraordinary, actively preventing the kind of mutation buildup that causes aging in virtually every other organism. The exact genetic trigger that kicks off the whole reversal process, scientists still don't know what it is. What they do know is that this tiny jellyfish has found a biological workaround for death itself. And if we ever figure out exactly how, it could change everything we understand about aging. Before we wrap up, here are 5 more superpowers that absolutely deserve a mention. The mantis shrimp has 16 types of color receptors in its eyes. Humans have 3. Scientists have no idea yet what the mantis shrimp actually perceives when it looks at the world. The mimic octopus can reshape its body in real time to convincingly impersonate over 15 different species, including lionfish, flatfish, and sea snakes. The decision-making behind which animal to imitate and when is still not fully understood. The crow has been documented making and using tools, solving multi-step puzzles, and recognizing individual human faces, then passing that information to other crows. Their problem-solving ability rivals that of some primates, despite having a completely different brain structure. The sloth moves so slowly that algae grows in its fur, giving it a green camouflage that no other mammal has. What baffles researchers is that the sloth appears to actively encourage this. It's not an accident. The algae also appears to provide nutritional benefits the sloth absorbs through its skin. The bowhead whale can live for over 200 years. Researchers have found harpoon tips from the 1800s lodged in living specimens. Scientists are only beginning to understand what genetic traits allow this level of longevity.
and the implications for human aging research are enormous. The more we study the natural world, the more we realize how much we still don't know. Every single creature on this list has been studied for decades, and every single one is still holding secrets. If you want to keep exploring those secrets with us, subscribe to NatureCrest. New videos every week, all built around the kind of research-backed wildlife facts that most people never get to hear about. I'll see you in the next one.